I think that the playing field is fairly level. The problem is getting into the system. Those with money, with businesses, with large estates, they usually they have lawyers, and they use them regularly. And if they have a legal problem, why, they have immediate access to representation. People of moderate means or the indigent are those that are most impacted. An individual who may be earning $50,000 a year with a family of 4 to support, there's just not any money left over to finance a serious legal problem. Prepaid legal, through this mechanism that has been developed, is they're making legal representation possible for persons of moderate means.
It's a calculation we make someday. We said, you know, someday we'll be sick, and someday we'll need a filling, and someday our kids will wreck our car, and or maybe we'll do it ourselves, and someday we may be sued, or someday we may need to sue somebody that has hurt us. And so what Harland did is he said, you know, people believe in putting a few dollars down on a regular basis so that they're covered when things happen. And he was able to aggregate a lot of that together, and good lawyers who would work at a good rate because of the broad coverage that they were able to get. And I think it's been a great American success story.
You need good, affordable legal representation. And Harland Stonecipher, who was just a visionary, saw this for all communities. And it certainly has accented the African-American community to help. You got people who have bad records, people who have trouble can now call prepaid legal and get good representation. When I studied prepaid legal and looked at it and saw the worth of it, I said, this is good. This is something that the National Black Chamber of Commerce should support, and we certainly do.
Over the past several years, as a result of an introduction by my good friend Mike Turpen, I've gotten to know and now consider a friend and business associate, Mr. Harland Stonecipher, the founder and CEO of the New York Stock Exchange listed company Prepaid Legal Services Incorporated.
Where did it all begin? How did you come up with this idea?
Well, Mike, thank you for being here. But, you know, it really started, the idea, the concept, back in 1969 with an automobile accident that I had. And it was an accident that wasn't my fault. In fact, the Highway Patrol gave the ticket to that other party. But a little bit later, that other party wound up suing me. So when I'm talking to people today and somebody says to me, well, you know, I don't know where I'll ever need a lawyer because I'm not going to do anything wrong, I say, well, what does that have to do with it? I had all the things that people normally have and that we normally are trying to plan for and take care of ahead of time. But the one thing I didn't have was anything to take care of the legal expenses, my legal bills. And I can tell you, Mike, I was just not prepared. I wasn't prepared financially. I wasn't prepared emotionally. I didn't even really know a lawyer. I'm like most people in America are today. They don't really know lawyers. They're intimidated by lawyers, and they're concerned about what it might cost. What we do for people is not just those real serious, catastrophic type things. We're also talking about just everyday legal events.
What kind of things, if I had a prepaid legal service policy, what kind of things would it cover?
Well, the first thing is the preventive law aspect of it, Mike, and that gives you the ability to pick up the telephone, call a lawyer, call a law firm, and we're talking about top quality lawyers, top quality law firms, and talk to them about anything of a legal nature. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, right now we're going through this subprime lending thing, and a lot of people are having problems out there right now with their mortgages. So if you had a prepaid membership and you're concerned about your mortgage, you're concerned about whether you're going to have a foreclosure, pick up the phone, call the lawyer, get some legal advice, get some legal help on that. Let's just say that you get a traffic ticket. Now, we can't fix tickets, and we don't fix tickets, but again, if you call the lawyer, they're going to give you some help on that. And many times, they'll be able to keep those points off of your record, et cetera. We all enter into contracts. We enter into them all the time. You just fax it over, let them take a look at it for you and tell you what it really covers and what it really doesn't cover.
How about getting a will drawn up? Is this something that prepaid legal lawyers could do under this membership, a will?
It is, Mike, and there's no cost to do it other than the cost of your membership. And what we find is that 70 to 80% of the people, Mike, that don't have something as simple and important as a will. As a prepaid member, you have access to the law firm, and you're going to be talking to lawyers that do estate planning, and they're going to do your will for yourself and your family, and there's no cost. In addition to that, you're going to get a power of attorney. You're going to get a health care directive done. You're going to get the living will. All of those things are covered under your membership. And, Mike, they can be updated every year at no cost.
I think a lot of people, when they hear about prepaid legal, they think maybe it's too good to be true. They read articles in the Wall Street Journal saying lawyers are now charging $1,000 an hour, and they have a hard time believing that for not very much money a month, they can have access to really good lawyers. Doesn't seem to make sense. There must be some sort of catch. But there really is no catch. You've got just an army of great lawyers out there who aren't totally driven by the bottom line. They're driven by a desire to solve problems for average middle-class people.
The revolutionary practice of joining customer service with the practice of law was not developed overnight, and it's something that is not taught in law school. But how do you persuade a lawyer to provide service, advice, or even lift a finger for a fee the average person can afford? It's not easy. It also takes time.
The network of provider attorneys across North America are the best law firms available anytime, anywhere for anybody. I'm very proud of the network of provider attorneys that we've put together for prepaid legal. My own law firm, I believe, is the best law firm in the state of Oklahoma. And I think all the provider attorneys feel that way about their state and their provinces, that they're the best law firm in their state, in their province. They're quality-conscious, service-oriented law firms. They're user-friendly. They're law firms that have learned to call the member back, help the member with preventive law, help them stay out of trouble before they ever get into trouble. The idea of prepaid legal services making our kinds of law firms, I think, very unique and good law firms available to all the people across this country at a very reasonable rate per month, is the best thing that's happened to the delivery of legal services, both criminal and civil, in the history of the justice system.
It's difficult to change a concept that is fairly accepted in society. And by that I mean that delivery of legal services in our society in the United States is done a certain way, and you have to pay a high rate to get the representation. What Mr. Stonecipher has identified is that there's a problem because people can't afford to do it. So with the advent of the legal service plan, it makes the representation much more affordable.
As a prepaid legal provider lawyer, people call our office every day looking for help, looking for a lawyer to talk to, looking for some advice and information. And I've always felt the strength and the value of being a provider attorney for prepaid legal is giving people empowerment through access to our law firm. We take on all sorts of calls from people in all walks of life, and it's rewarding to know that we don't have to worry about economics standing in the way between us and our clients and getting their problems resolved.
There was a young man who had purchased a luxury car. I won't say the name of the maker, but he purchased a luxury car, paid a lot of money for it, paid cash for it, and was so excited about having this car, but it had a lot of problems. It was a lemon. He gets his Title I benefit, he gets his prepaid benefit to send out a letter. So that initiated the process. Then he realized that he had to allow them a final inspection. So what I told him to do is not only to document everything, but to take your video camera and to record it before and after they do the repairs. And that's what he did. They were about to deny that he had a lemon law claim. And they were about to say that it was something different, a totally different problem. When he produced that tape, and you could hear the same noise on the first tape that was made before the repairs, and the same noise on the second tape, which was made after the repairs, they backed off, they backed down, and they bought the car back.